All right, this is going to be a really fun video. We're going to go over and answer your comments from the last couple of videos about 338 ARC. We're also going to talk 86 Blackout, 300 Blackout, and of course, 338 Spectre. There's a lot of people who are confused about things. This is all in good fun. I'm not roasting anyone here, but there is one comment in particular that just came in like maybe 30 minutes ago that has me particularly fired up. Here we have a 338 Spectre piece of brass. The 338 ARC will be incredibly similar to this. It actually does have a little bit more taper than this. This one is relatively flat on the side, but slightly different. Same overall length. A question right off the bat here, someone said, can you shoot these interchangeable? The answer is never can you shoot anything interchangeably. Remember, as a general rule, the answer to that question is no, never can you shoot any two bullets interchangeably. Let's see, here's a fully loaded 338 Spectre. If you want to see what those 300 grain pieces of brass look like, it's going to be something similar to this. This one's a prototype, not exactly the same as what is loaded here. The projectile is definitely larger than the brass. First question on the list is from Mason E. He says, answer, a solution, looking for a problem. So there were several comments like this, as if there's no purpose or point in all and ever making up a new caliber, which I think is silly. Remember, the two camps of people thing here, the early adopters, the ones who are fanboys right away, and then the ones who feel threatened because either they can't make a new one, they think it's going to be too expensive, or they think it challenges or outdates or makes their cartridge obsolete. I'm of the category that none of that is true. It is possible that we progress and it could make something obsolete, but guys still shoot 45 ACP and 30-06 every day, 45-70, 30-30. These calibers are beloved by someone and they're going to keep shooting them. They still have a purpose. So even if the 338 ARC makes the 338 Spectre obsolete, it's not really going to matter, because if I already have a 338 Spectre and I'm already reloading, I'm just going to keep doing that. I don't have to always adopt the new thing. So let's not feel threatened by new cartridges. Let's enjoy the process and realize that there is not one caliber that suits everyone's needs. There just simply isn't. Still so many questions about what subsonic hunting even is. We're going to get to more of this as we go along, but you have to remember that subsonic is replacing mass with velocity. We have a speed limit if we want to stay under that supersonic, that sound barrier. So 1040, 1050, depending on your sea level, and I realize it gets a little murky there, but 1040, 1050, if you're faster than that, I don't think it works anywhere, but some places in different elevations have to be even slower just due to the air density. RAWPNS says, nice try, Hornady. I'll stick with the 86 Blackout. Let's go ahead and address that right now. There's not a scenario where the ARC, the 338 ARC, eliminates the need of an 8.6 Blackout. The 86 Blackout is just in its beginning, and it has had such widespread adoption and popularity. The 86 Blackout is not going anywhere. The obvious elephant in the room for anyone who shoots 86, they realize two things. One, you're going to have to chase some accuracy. You're going to have to get your SDs real low. You're going to have to find a load that works with your gun. It's not quite as plug and play easy as a 6.5 Creedmoor or something like that, where almost every ammo will work in almost every gun. The 8.6 is a little more fine-tuned, but it's already gotten so much better than it was a year ago, and we could be fully dialed here coming up soon. There's also some new powders coming on the market that are bulkier. They're going to solve our case capacity issue, which solves the SD issue, which makes it more accurate in general. So 8.6 is still absolutely in its infancy and growing still very strong. Okay, Papaflamboy says, spin rate is overrated. Literally, compared to any other firearm's angular rate, it doesn't provide any significant increase of damage to the target. It is a nothing burger from a physics and energy standpoint. It might add 0.5% overall effective lethality of the round of the question, if that. In the original podcast that was out like 4 years ago, where Q talks about this for the very first time, Kevin talks about this for the very first time, that was a podcast that I heard that got me interested in this 6, 8 months, 10 months before any components were available. In that video, he 100% says that the spin rate imparts additional energy on the target. Now, I believe that this is still partially true. This is, let's fact check this, partially true. One thing it 100% does is it enhances the bullet's ability to perform and open at impact, at slower speeds, at longer ranges. So traditionally, we're required a lot of velocity to make a bullet perform. We don't have a lot of velocity, but we have a lot of mass. So by putting that spin on it, it allows the bullet to perform. So what was a 300 range, now you have a 600 range out of because you have more spin. So the bullet technology that we've been talking a lot about, it really allows that. A 1 in 3 twist, even a 1 in 5 twist, that extra spin helps those bullets perform, helps them open. And you have seen the videos of I have one here somewhere. You've seen the videos where it looks like a fishing hook where it's just split out and hooked back. That thing is opening and spinning. Energy on target, I don't have a number for you, but I can tell you that every single pig I've shot with 8.6 has fallen over. It has just simply fallen over. A couple of ELDMs that I definitely had to pass through, but the pig still fell over. And then most of them have been shot with maker bullets that are opening up and they're doing radical things inside there and the pigs just fall over. Jay Smith says, with the 338 Spectre being such a proven caliber for subsonic already in an AR-15, I think that the 338 ARC is silly. If they did it with a 375 or a 408, with a super fast twist for nasty damage in a subsonic, I'd be game. This caliber is pointless. And then he goes on to say a 7mm or a 308 would maybe make sense. Think 30 BR, Pinterest, but this seems dumb. Well, I was with him early in this comment, but he lost me towards the end. The 338 Spectre is a proven caliber, and it already exists as the 338 AR-15. All that's correct. But then he goes on to say that we should have just done a 375 or a 408. Now, there are definitely limitations, and I don't know what they are, but there are definitely limitations of the barrel chambering and barrel sizes that will still fit in the standard receiver of an AR-15. Do I have one? All right, 308 upper receiver, AR-15 upper receiver. It'll literally fit inside of it. So your big bores need to go AR-10 and your smaller bores need to go AR-15. That's what makes sense. But we're probably getting close to a limitation there on what is physically possible of an AR-15 size. I don't know, maybe 375 would work, maybe 408 would work. I'm just saying something to think about. Last and final question here. This is the one that got me fired up. Off Target XY6B says, hunting subsonic isn't really ideal. Unbelievable, Off Target. It's not bad for plinking, but I don't see a real need for something that doesn't create a wound channel that is as good as high velocity rounds or have the range. Trying to think, what is this guy doing? Is he an elk hunter and he's shooting elk from one mountain to another mountain? Yeah, that's not a subsonic job. You would never choose a subsonic bullet to do that job. What the heck is he doing that he doesn't? I don't know what he's doing. It is way cool for plinking, but you're going to want to stick with 9mm and 45 ACP if you're plinking, because from a volume standpoint, it gets real expensive real quick. Subsonic is ideal for hunting. Thus, we talked about this. Fast twist, wound channels are insane. Off Target, you're going to need to do a little more research before, but maybe we can change your mind with a little more research there. Supersonic rounds typically are hearing safe with a suppressor anyway. Disagree. Like 22 LR is. He goes on to say, as neat as it is, I would rather see Hornady make 6.8 Western and or get plenty of 6 ARC options and maybe produce some of the WSM stuff like 17 WSM, 277mm, 300 WSM. That ammo would sell, in my opinion. Okay. So this brings us to kind of my closing thought on this for this video today. We are looking at a marketing situation and a branding situation In a nutshell, the reason why Hornady didn't pick the 338 Spectre to run with is because they have to market this 6 arc, 22 arc, 338 arc. It's a family of cartridges for them. They can't have one that doesn't fit the mold that they're presenting. And you can blame that like on the money, sure, but it's also just to help consumers understand what this does, what this does, what this does. If it all has different naming convention, it's difficult to sell and to market. So it's not as if it's a cash grab. It's more of just a convenience to the consumer. People who are walking up on this and not knowing anything, they're going to see the ARC, and if they already know 6-arc, they're going to understand kind of where this cartridge came from. Now, as far as these other calibers, a 270, a 300 WSM, Hornady has their own calibers that they push. Other companies do theirs. Weatherby's entered the chat. Some of those guys just do their own family of cartridges. It would be a tough ask to ask every ammo company to push every one. I agree with you. 6.8 Western got a bad rap. It never took off like it should have. Now, it is real close to a couple other cartridges that do similar things, but I agree with you. That cartridge should have been better. That's not the style of shooting that I do in Texas. Shorter ranges, pig hunting, shorter ranges. I have deer blinds I'm shooting from most of the time. I'm not stalking deer. My property is way too dense for that. They would hear me coming from a mile away. So the kind of shooting I do is from a deer blind, usually at a feeder or some of the deer crossing the creek or pigs crossing the creek. And those are known limited ranges, so I don't have a need for some of these other cartridges. But I know some of you guys that hunt Western style, that, you know, shooting an elk from another mountain is, you know, you need more bullet than that. All right, great job, everybody. If you got more questions, leave them down below. Super fun to go through this. I have found the last couple of days have been really enjoyable. Had tons of questions and emails just with this 338 ARC announcement. And I do have an update for you as well. I am building one. I have 2 barrels coming in from 2 different manufacturers that reached out and want to see us do it on the channel. So looks like we're building a 338 ARC.